Is this real? Is Nintendo actually making a new Super Mario Bros. Collection for the 40th anniversary of Super Mario Bros. Next month? Let's talk about it, because probably not. But this tweet, or this news more accurately, has been spreading like wildfire. This tweet alone by Stealth, friend of the channel, has almost 500,000 views already, which is freaking wild. In fact, if we refresh it, we're gonna see how it's already jumped up since I opened the tab. It has actually well over 500,000 views at this point. Wild. It's also been posted to big Nintendo news websites like My Nintendo News, along with various subreddits, which as you can see has already been deleted. Huh, I wonder why. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of this, of why it's almost certainly a fake leak. Not that a compilation could happen at some point, but if it does, it's almost certainly a coincidence rather than this being based on anything factual. Because, for one, as part of this leak has been fake, or I'm already getting ahead of myself here, has been box art showing the supposed collection. There you can see New Super Mario Bros. Collection featuring the 3 games that was in the leak. It has both the front and back of the box, which we can zoom in here and you can even see some of the text here, which apparently according to some Japanese speakers, this text doesn't even make sense or doesn't align with what we know how Nintendo writes these. So that already seems to be, you know, one thing against it. But even more damning is the fact that if you take a look at the barcode down here, and if you actually scan it in or, you know, do a search for the numbers on the barcode, you'll see that takes you to an existing product, the new Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, which is very much not a compilation. In fact, hilariously, it's not even part of the rumored compilation, which is just really ironic on the face of it. So yeah, that seems to debunk at least the box art part, if not the entire thing, which, you know, these seem to be really part and parcel of the whole thing. But beyond this, though, is let's go back to the My Nintendo News take on this, because for one, they actually refer to the leaker John Skinny as being notorious or having notoriety, which, by the way, is not a good thing. When you say something is notorious or has notoriety, that's attributing a negative quality to that source. So why are we reporting on it then? Maybe the author didn't fully understand the context of that word or the meaning of that word, but it is perfectly fitting in this case because it sure seems that this person is not a valid source. And that brings me to my second point, because the account that's been sharing this news to Reddit as well, being Spirit of Ace, also appears to be extremely unreliable. Very possibly because they may be the same person as this John Skinny. As noted by a Reddit account here, Playful Lecture, they noted that the same person, Spirit of Ace, has also attributed this John Skinny to other rumors as well, such as having secret demos of the Switch 2 like 10 months before it was officially revealed, which ended up, as far as I can tell, not being accurate. And at the least, other rumors that they posted weren't accurate, like Kirby Planet Robobot relaunched, which if you take a look at those threads, have also been deleted from the Gaming Leak subreddit and other subreddits that were posted to. One of these threads of which featured AI art of the supposed box art, confirming that it was not a real leak. And seemingly even further, it seemed like they were just riding the highs of leaks that Nate the Hate, which is a friend of the channel, had covered at that point, meaning that they were just taking an existing rumor, repackaging it, and trying to, you know, say it was essentially their own, or add to it with that supposed, again, fake leak. So Spirit of Ace already seems to be incredible. Very likely because they could be the same person as is John Skinny, and in either case, whether or not they are the same person, neither account appears to be credible at this point. Again, especially because the box art has now been not only disproven for Kirby, but also for Mario as well, with that, you know, sharing the same barcode as New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. So it should be pretty clear by now that this leak, the supposed leak, is almost certainly debunked. If this somehow ends up being a real product, it's not because a leak predicted or was related to it, it's because they got lucky. So at this point, yeah, it doesn't seem to be a real collection that exists at this point in time, and I would not take anything from this leaker, either set of these leakers, if they're not the same person, as anything credible in the future. So I better not see any more news stories on my Nintendo about this John Skinny or Ace of Spirits or whoever it was on Reddit. And that does bring me to my next point, because there are a ton of fake leaks out there. In fact, we just had that fake leak direct that a YouTuber put out there, supposedly as an experiment to see how far and how the news spread, which I don't know why we needed that experiment, considering we see how these leaks spread almost every single day. So, and it's kind of reaching like a feverish pitch again right now. Like, it comes in waves, and right now this is a wave that is a little bit grating on me, because this is such an easy leak to debunk. It took me literally 5 minutes of looking into it to see that it wasn't true. true, though that didn't stop idiots like this guy from commenting on it before looking into it, which also speaks to another part of the problem, is how it's not just the outlets doing it, but how it then spreads from those outlets. I think on a good faith assumption that the outlets looked into it, in which case they clearly did not, because there was so little evidence supporting it, and what evidence there is was easily debunked, like the box art, that it is just kind of annoying how easily that seed, if you will, can grow into a flourishing forest of lies and deceit. And I don't want to blame anyone in this particular scenario. Not Stealth, not My Nintendo News, because we ourselves here at GameXplain have reported on fake leaks before, though I think we've gotten way better at it over the years, only commenting on things that are either, debunked, like this video, though even that is very rare, or ones that are almost certainly true, after we've looked into it to at least confirm the validity of that. Though that isn't to say we still don't make mistakes, or haven't, at least in the last few years, though again, I think we've improved a lot. But the thing is, in cases like this, where the news, for one, even if it's not, for one, it should be researched first. But whether or not that does happen, if evidence does come to light afterward, it absolutely needs to be followed up on. There has been no amendment to this story. Let me go ahead and refresh this real quick. And yeah, still no update. The news story is still on the website, and it needs to absolutely be amended. I don't know why this news story is still, existing as in the original state, when it's been very clearly debunked. Not just by me, by other people that have discovered the exact same evidence, and other points perhaps that that were posted in those threads. And again, like this news is continuing to spread. Look, if I refresh this tweet from Stealth already, which I refreshed just a few minutes ago, it already gained another almost 10,000 impressions. That's freaking wild, and it's going to continue to spread, because it's not being followed up on, and that's why I wanted to make this video, because this is still spreading just hours after it was posted, and it's not calming down. And of course, when we have people like purposely posting leaks out there to see, as experiments to see how they spread, it's not really helping the conversation. And I think really the point is we just need to do better. And again, I don't want to call it anyone specific. I'm a big fan of Stealth and My Nintendo News. I think by and large, they both do really good work. And again, ourselves, we've fallen victim to leaks as well. But this case in particular was so easily debunked that it shouldn't have really become a story in the first place. And I think, again, we just need to do better as a community. Which, even this video itself, even though we are trying to debunk the news, it is engaging with it, which I don't know if that really is for the better or worse. I invite a conversation in the discussion or in the comments to let me know if, how useful this actually is, because reporting on the news in any way is still engaging with it, and I don't know if that really is a good thing or not. I would prefer to spend my time doing other things than reporting on, or, even engaging with this news in any way. But in this case, it was catching on like wildfire. I thought it was worth addressing. And at this point, the video was already way longer than intended to be anyway. So I'm gonna wrap it up there. Let me know in the comments below what you think of all this, because I just want to know what the community stance is at this point about these fake leaks. Which the thing is, they aren't always so clearly fake. There are, anyone remember the Grinch leak? Even though we never actually reported on it as being a real thing, a lot of places were fooled by it. And that was actually a fairly credible seeming leak, despite the absurdity of it on the surface. But yeah, anyways, I'm sure there's an even larger conversation to be had here. Let me know in the comments below what your take on everything is, and I'd love to read about it. So with that, thanks for watching, everyone. We'll catch you later. Bye.